Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Because Cannabis.
I found a new button on the Roadcaster, Dustin Kava. My name's BC Wayman. This is Wayward Media Because Cannabis podcast every Wednesday, 4:20 on YouTube. Check this out, Dustin.
Welcome to the show.
Are you feeling it? Are you thinking that? I could do this right here. I could do this one. Are you ready?
Hey, Dustin. Oh, let's just say one. Oh, it's a fail.
On my part. Not always sure what you're going to find every Wednesday, 4:20 on YouTube, every Thursday, everywhere you listen to podcasts, especially Spotify. Head to the Spotify, give us a follow. We have full video podcasts on Spotify, the Because Cannabis podcast from Wayward Media, Plant Save My Life podcast coming soon, everyone. It is the 4th of July. All right, I'll stop the sound effects at some point. It is the day after the 4th of July. If you're watching our show live Wednesday at 4:20 p.m. on YouTube, a celebratory day in America, a day that gets people fired up. We're excited to talk with you as we are every single Wednesday. Wayward Media. Follow us socially at MeetWM, at Meet Wayward on Facebook. Give us a subscription and all that good stuff. Dustin Kava, welcome back. Good to see you. So tell me,
how was your holiday season?
I love the buttons.
It was explosive. It was good. You know what? It was awesome. I had a lot of family time, and it was really, really good. I usually don't take a day off, and I took a day off.
Oh, good for you, man. I'm glad you got to celebrate the holiday with friends and family. I'm not going to go on my rant, but I got to tell you, since last year's show, if you go back in the annals of time into the live stream, back when this show was live streamed, it's video now. If you're looking for the show, if you're looking for the spot, you're following the playlist, we're moving the video there. If you're looking for that, it's a casual show today, people. It's a holiday show. No one's booking the show right on the 4th of July. So it's Dustin and I. We got some exploding hot takes for you today, though. So I'm excited to have this kind of moment. I think we're having a fun show today, Dustin. I'm fired up for what we're going to talk about here on Because Cannabis. My exploding hot take from last July 4th show is exactly the same. I watched some fireworks yesterday. I watched colored lights and sound effects and big
Explosions
up in the sky. And still, I'm not impressed. A thumbs down. I am, Joaquin Phoenix, not Russell Crowe in Gladiator. I am that role. Just boo. Not impressed. Are you not entertained? I was not entertained. I think you were okay with them. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't seen the right show, man. I'm not sure. I need to be higher. Is that something? Do I need to be higher to watch fireworks?
I mean, like I told you about the old Bovax we used to make my spill-proof water pipe.
Yeah,
we used to be able to hide into the monster can. And
go check out last year's show for Dustin's Bovax story.
Yeah, there's definitely a few, times I've seen fireworks with the Bovac, and that was good. But I think last year I talked about Thunder over Louisville too, and Thunder over Louisville is just this. There is no fireworks display other than Thunder over Louisville for me, and it's like April 20th or something. It's in April. So they record it in April and then played on 4th of July for all the network broadcasts and stuff like that throughout the year. But it's the fireworks to see. And
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm sure there are good ones and bad ones, but it is the point now where the median average is I'm like, that's a really, there's like lots of things. There's people who crochet very well, and I'm sure it's an amazing, intricate line work, but the level of impressiveness I have from poor crochet to amazing crochet is indifferent. And I feel I'm at that point with exploding colors in the sky. Like the point of fantastic, like, yes, I acknowledge you are amazing at your job, and those things are boomtastic and fantastic and pretty, but also bad versions of that, which are still glittery and loud, I'm at about the same, right? Like it's just very gray. It's all gray for me in this point.
I don't know. I love the idea of hundreds of millions of dollars being blown up in the middle of the fucking air. I love that idea. It's just like, does anybody know how we can explode $1,000 bill? It's like, yeah, it's pretty simple. So I love, it's just the funniest thing when it's like, we have all these problems and it's like, I know what to do about all of them. Let's just blow the shit up in the air and just forget about it for another year. It seems
like a very wasteful Way to go. So we are here on Because Cannabis. Gonna have a chat show, gonna talk through some topics that are on our brains lately. First of all, Dustin, I noticed today must be a holiday show. Both of us dressing down, rocking some t-shirts today. I got my Anonymide apparel. Shout out Amanda Taylor, our Cleveland Cannabis shirt, done in the style of the Cleveland Cavaliers logo, but clearly outside of trademarks in that area. But it's a dope shirt, the wine and gold Cleveland Cannabis logo there. Shout out to them.
I'm
Who you
actually
rocking today?
I'm wearing my Ask Me About My Endocannabinoid System shirt from Grasslands.
Oh, shout out Grasslands.
So definitely shout out Grasslands. Love them.
Rocking the t-shirts today, chilling. So Dustin, had a little extra time over the holiday season, some free time. And on Saturday, I did something. I experienced my very first time doing something as a person in the state of Ohio. I visited, we talked, I got my medical card and I wasn't sure what my first experience was going to be. And unlike a lot of things, I visited my first dispensary, by the way. Unlike most things, I have a lot of planning. I overly prepare. If anyone knows me, I go through a tremendous amount of details. I'm very comfortable in the moment when shit goes awry. I ride with that too, right? I don't let it frazzle me, but I am particular and prepared. And it was after all this thought, and I was going to make content out of it. We're going to make a video. Maybe we'll still put that in. Would you like to see me visit a dispensary? Because it's an experience. Me and Dustin should go together. Put down below, put in the comments. You will find someone. If you are with the place and me and Dustin can come to your place and film us walking in. And I know there's rules with the back part of it, but we can do a lot of things creatively. We'd like to visit your dispensary on camera. Let us know. Shoot us an email. hello@wayward.media. So I went to, it was not a planned thing. It was very spur of the moment. It was just like, I had like an hour to kill. And I was like, looked at my wife and I went, I think I'm going to go to the dispensary. And she's like, what? I'm like, why not? I go see my dude regularly. I just don't, let me go. And so I went.
Okay. So my first question is, you know the brands that everybody raves about.
Correct.
And so did you choose an experience or did you choose an object of convenience by going to the closest one?
I will TR::DR this cheap. And then I'll tell a long story about the answer. I just want to get that out of the way. I'm going to bury the lead. Like, you're not supposed to do that. I could probably talk for 10 minutes and will about this. But yeah, so I went and I knew I wanted to go, but just deciding I wanted to go and that it took probably an extra 30 minutes because there are 3 within a close proximity of me. And so I went between all 3 of their websites. And even though I know on a first-time patient, you have to go in, you can't do an online cart, but I needed to like go through the process. I tried so hard with multiple sort filter options and multiple things to get brands that I know and trust and have been inside. I've like been inside facilities, right?
True.
And I support them. We have fans of the show and people that we know. And so like, yes, I have. And there's also brands, which if you talk to patients in Ohio, if you talk to anyone, they're like, yeah, get this. Right. But I'm a budget kind of guy. So I was just a lot of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And then ultimately, I think settled on what I think most shoppers do. And this is interesting. We can talk marketing in the cannabis today, Dustin. But I think a lot of people if you go on, we'll talk social media in a second, places, they're always spouting highfalutin things and what customers want and patients want. I found the sweet spot between budget and brand, which I think is what people look for after visiting. And I'll tell you, before I went, and I knew I had to see, I'll shout out, I won't name names, but I have a good friend who is a patient in the program. Who hasn't listened to this show, even though he should subscribe and follow like you should be doing right now if you're listening, because Cannabis every Wednesday. We have lots of great interviews, lots of great guests, got some amazing shows coming up. Today's a holiday show. Dustin and I just chatting about some things happening in our life. And this is fun. Maybe you've never been to a dispensary before. I think it's a relatable thing. I meet a lot of people and have met at the school who have never been, who are very nervous, who are getting new cards. I got mine from Dr. Bridget Williams, as you did as well, and renewed through her. Like, she's an amazing person. Check her out, Dr. Bridget Williams, MD. Encouraging cannabis. And so I know all of it in my head. I know it. And in the end, I gotta think I'm tiny timid through the dandelion, sir. Here in the end, I chose a brand that I like but don't love, but was a great price, and I went pre-ground because I grind anyway. Right, you know my affinity for pre-rolls. I'm sure shout out to Ohio's rules and regulations, in that vibe. So I pre-roll, and so I pre-grind it, and so pre-ground, son, price drop like I'm nobody's business. Same version of this, not pre-ground, literally like 40% more. So I got 2.5 ounces. I got a purple punch birthday cake combo. And then I got a banana, which is an indica, and it is potent. And then I got a banana sherbet hybrid, which is a nice sweet sativa leaving hybrid, from a good company, from the dispensary I went to. And here's where I don't know if I'm named yet, but I went to I bought house brand. And so I actually teach in the Cleveland School of Cannabis in the state of Colorado. There's stats that come out. The number one selling brand is never like Wawa and all these other Willie's Reserves. It's house brand because it's what tends to be cheap. So I brought, shout out, and I'll give them names. I brought to the Botanist house brand from GTI, and it was a good deal. And yeah, that was so there's my first answer. I do want to talk about my experience going inside and whatnot, but that's how I shopped. I did about 30 minutes of over research on the internet, back and forth between we'll give Bloom and Curaleaf, which are the other two in Northeast that I live within my close vicinity. I want to go visit. I'm definitely going to go visit the Citizen by Clutch that just opened in Canton, because I went to Media Day at the one up in Lorain, and it was gorgeous.
And I've been to that one. I love that little store.
I'm excited to go see, and I like Clutch, and I know several people that work there that have come through the school, so I want to support them. And Clutch has always been good to us at the school, so I'll bet Canton's much closer to me. So I'm going to go to that one day. But I went to the Botanist, got the house brand. It was in bang for a buck, but definitely leaning buck versus right. I even sorted by THC value and stuff. Let me finish my thought. I'm gonna, because I know people are dying to know what happened to my friend that I referenced but never came back to. Epilogue. So he, because he doesn't listen to the show, is a budget shopper. That dude sorts and knows how to. He went in this whole rave, which I really, if you look, the best kind of bang for the buck is capsules, because capsules are undervalued by patients. And so they up them a little bit in per milligram dosage size. So you can get some decent bang for the buck in capsules versus like yummy edibles, because you don't have any other ingredients other than gel cap. There's no other overcost to it. So capsules are way cheaper. No marketing, no branding, no design. It's a bunch of pills. And so he just goes, he's like, fuck it, I just go capsule. So I had to go see him, and he gave me a good reminding comeuppance to stick to your wallet versus the brand, because I start going, I'm like, bro, this thing by Fireland Scientific, and shout out to them, and Galenus, he's like, I've heard it, but you know what I got? I got a lot of cheap weed. It does its deal. So he gave me a reality check. I used that lesson going forward. Long-winded answer. I went price.
Were you ever the guy, when you went to the black market, your dude, did you ever ask for the shake bag?
No, I don't. I am your dude's wet dream. I take what you give me. I get what I get and don't throw a fit. I was always happy to get your product, sir. If you was underweighed, by the way, oh my God, I can't say that. You sort of, so the same guy would like he would weigh it when the dude would roll up. He'd be like, weigh, and if it was like 0.2 less, he'd be like, and you're like, he would do that. I just take the bag and I go home, and if it doesn't weigh it, I'm just not going to use your services again unless I get desperate. Like, that's how I am. I just get what I get and don't throw it. I'm a great, anyone that wants to sell me something, I'm a great customer. I'm an amazing customer, Dustin. Like, I just handle shit well. I don't complain. And so, I'm a great customer.
I totally picture that. Yeah, man, that first year I spent way too much money. I was brand
I will. I have two
time.
things. I have some white whale type Moby Dick things that I'm chasing, like strains that get released in sometimes. And I wanted a luster pod, but I know there's one company that makes really good ones. And so I'm waiting.
Clutch's 3-pack are always fair. I get their 3-pack goes on sale every now and then at Citizen, and they last me forever. I really enjoy them. So I don't know.
I do get pickier.
Place.
Like when I went to the edibles, I do look for like live resin now kind of things. And I kind of like, those are buzzwords, and as much as I'm anti-buzzword right now, can I tell you how I'll get to my pissed? I'm so pissed off at LinkedIn right now. That's where the whole title. Yeah, I'm so pissed off. I'm not pissed off at LinkedIn. We're gonna rant it. We're gonna make it more ranty. I'm gonna fake be pissed off at LinkedIn. But it was kind of that experience. When you went into one for the first time, do you remember? I don't know if you want to name names. Do you remember your first dispensary and how you went to? Because I was my first time. I've been inside, but never as the patient, and so getting to the back part's harder. So
I don't know, man. The first time had to be, fuck, dude. I can't remember if it was Vegas or Michigan. Either way, they both had two separate experiences. Vegas is such a pomp and circumstance place, and so every dispensary was just like, I don't know, trying to be fucking classier than they are. And then, like Michigan is like, felt so grassroots. You almost felt you were walking into some guy's dirty shed in some of these things. And like
I'm sure they want to put that on the tourism banner.
Yeah,
like walking in your neighbor's dirty shed, Michigan weed.
But then again, there are really, really nice places too. They have the mix, but still you have that variety. And I think kind of like New York City is going through a lot of that as they try to like weed out who's the legitimate shops, who's not, what's going on. And so I don't know, man. It just the both experiences, and then Ohio's experience was even more. I don't know. They've all varied tremendously. Vegas was just kind of like, I need to get in, get out, and I want to start smoking on the strip because I'm not a drinker, like I gotta get the fuck out of here. And I just got off the airplane, so I'm like, oh
yeah.
And then, Ohio, I've never been impressed with any experience that I've ever had at any Ohio shop in any capacity. I don't like the means of browsing. It's just, it's a lame experience. But I will say,
sorry, go ahead.
I will say Clutch has implemented, the Citizen by Clutch has implemented stuff that I have been dreaming about and talking about implementing at Inhalables. There's recordings even with you and Anthony that are like me describing what the future head shop and future process looks like. And part of Clutch experience is the ability to grab a product off the shelf, a bag, the container of the product without anything in it, and set it onto the computer screen, onto the touch screen, and have relevant information be displayed about the product without having to go to the bud tender, without having to do something else. And in certain capacities, it makes sense more in the smoke shop realm where you need to cut down on costs in terms of employee engagement. And like when you have 10 people waiting in line, this gives them something to do while they're fucking waiting in line. But in an Ohio dispensary, they're only allowing 1 or 2 patients you're only allowing 1 patient per bud tender. It's always capped at that. You always end up talking to the bud tender for 30 seconds and then waiting 10 minutes to get the order filled. There's just, it's a total different experience. And there's just not that personal touch.
In-person experience, I don't want to say it's akin to a doctor's office because it's not. It's a weird hybrid model between a doctor's office and a retail setting, but it doesn't do either well, right? It doesn't have either one well. And so I'll describe it because most of them are very similar. And I think what we're seeing is we talk about the Citizen by Clutch. Free promo today. Hit us up there. Ring my bell. They do it well, though, inside because there is like this time. And I have found, and I knew this, and probably because people have told me this, that the way to go is basically what I did. Go online, order through the cart. It did make, and I was able to, even though I had to, and I'll talk about this in a second, in case you're curious, right? A great show. If you haven't been to one, this is exactly what it was like. So I went online, put the order in as if I just got my card. They don't really ask for your information like your card. You put it in. I put my stuff in. I submitted the online cart, and it said accepted. Done. And I was like, okay. I picked my time, which was like an hour later. I got a phone call from them about 10 minutes later, gave me a shout and said, hey, is this you? I said, yes, it is. And they said, hey, are you a patient? And I said, I am. And they said, can you come 30 minutes early and fill out some paperwork? I said, I will. So I drive down, nice parking lot. It's in downtown Akron. It's in a nice area that's being revitalized. Small parking lot, but well lit, cameras there. You walk in, you press a button and you open and you go into the door. Inside there, you have this experience, and that's where the doctor officey part is, right? There's a few people seated. There was a guy there. He gave me a clipboard. I filled out some information, copy of my card, all this stuff that you would kind of fill out, signed away some waivers and stuff. And as I was sitting there, some people are coming in, and you had people who had a pickup order for Joe Smith, pickup order for Joe Smith, stuff like that, right? And then you have go ahead. And then once you walk into the back part, I sat there. I was not 30 minutes. I was like 10 minutes, maybe. I mean, sat there. It was not busy though at all. I go back, and it was like a display. Like there's no interactiveness. They do have some, like they had some pamphlets in the printout. They had the printout, which a lot of them do the printout, but it's like so much information to go through. If you didn't know what you wanted before you got there, the easiest way is to talk to someone, to go through it, unless Citizen, which has this interactive menus, which you now can put a product and it can tell you that it's a lot of information on a page at one time, even for someone who's very familiar with what all the terpenes and percentages and symbols mean. Right? It's not my first rodeo at looking at this data. I've seen sales sheets have lots of sample ads, but they were very polite. Everyone was wonderful there. Everywhere I went, I don't know. Shout out to the Cleveland School of Cannabis. You are employing people. 3 people through my experience, former students of the Intro to Business class, probably know you too, Dustin Kava. So employees, graduates of the school working there. All of them said hello and caught up. I had my full beard back then. I shaved my beard, by the way, over the holiday weekend. Just walk in, and then because of the online order, I kind of sat, and for a few minutes, I got my order. They have a cool kind of private out. You got to go through like a double lock system kind of thing. And
because you have to show your prescription. You have to show your recommendation card, your Ohio card, before you can even get into the first door. So it's not even like you can just go in and discuss any of the process. You have to have already gone through this. It's highly.
It's a learning curve. That's why we got to make that video. We got to showcase. It's a bit of a learning curve to get in, and I can see it being a little intimidating. I'm a confident shopper, and I know the experience. And obviously, I said people recognize me. It sounds like a star. So I was like, everyone was very nice to me, right? And so, but it was a good experience. The product I found very wonderful. We'll give it a big thumbs up, double thumbs up.
I don't think I've ever been allowed to look at product without buying it first.
There was not it was all pre-bagged, like for that. They had a glass display though of some stuff in like
but like with inhalables, when I have a piece of glass and they were like, "Ooh, that looks cool," I was able to take it out, set it on the counter, have them look at it in a way that allows them to see what they're actually buying.
They had sniffer jars pre-COVID, but that's all gone. And now that it's out, it's an expense that dispensaries hate. It's an unnecessary cost. So if you like it, it's not coming back. It's not coming back. Just one of those things, man.
No, but when you go to Michigan, I'm pulling off the shit. I mean, I got 45 jars in front of me that are filled, that they're weighing and scooping as I say how much I want, and I can actually look at the consistency. Whereas, like Ohio, anywhere else, it's like they tip up the jar and all you see is in the bottom of the jar and kind of like, but it's after they've already scanned it and added it to my recommendation. So it's like, I've never had that experience. Like, yo, can you show me the I don't know, man.
I think, and there are a few there are people, like anyone that rants and raves on social media. There are a few people who get all mad and bitch about that process and get really frustrated with it. And I get it, but it is, in this case, it's a get what you get and don't throw a fit. Like, right. I get it. The prices are bad, but I feel like I'm the ideal patient. Like, here it is. I understand it's got a lot of issues. The prices are a little bit there. I got to tell you, I think the prices of flour compared to street prices are equal, if not cheaper now. So I think people complaining about flour pricing, that's way down. I mean, you can get some stuff cheaper here and there. I get it. But compared to what I think a street price gets you and stuff, I think it's, especially compared to the product, right? The quality of product is above, and it's tested, and it's clean. So it's not just a good high, it's a clean, well-grown product. So the edibles and such are ridiculously overpriced. So that part's bad. Obviously, stuff like capsules we talked about are a deal. But it's an experience. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to go to a few more. We'll check it out. We'll get to the Citizen. Maybe we'll get a chance to get inside one, Dustin, and do that. But it was an interesting experience. If you found that interesting, let us know. Like, we'd love to go, if you want us to check out your dispensary, we'll start reviewing. Names, can't name names yet, but it was a good experience. Shout out to the botanist. It was good. I'll check out the other two by me soon. It was a different shopping experience, Dustin, than what is proliferating. That's not even the right word for me to say. And look at me. I'm trying to say big words and failing. And that's what this big word, by the way. I was all mad when we wrote the show title. Do you even know what the show title means? You're like, what's this mean?
No.
Harangue is like a fancy word for rant. Like it's a passionate rant. It's like when you're super, super fired up and you're like,
Hooray!
right, that's how you say it, like a man.
There's
Harangue. So
only
it's like,
certain topics that get me fired up like that.
well, this is one. Like you saw the other part, right? This is, semicolon or and ampersand, headshops, harangue and headshops. You ever check out our titles? You never notice they're always matching letters. We do that for you people. So I have my favorite. And so let me put it this way. In the last week or so, I've had 2 conversations about something, and I haven't talked to you about this. And so I am excited to bring this to your attention. So shout out to Ohio Cannabis Health and Business Summit. Lenny Berry is hosting the medical marijuana meetups. If you're in Northeast Ohio and you're not part of these, he's doing these monthly meetups at the Haunted House restaurant up in fancy Cleveland area, Cleveland Heights, some part. It was cool. It was all horror themed. Like you walk in and for 10 minutes, I'm sitting there having conversations, talking. Shout out our buddy Andrew Hammerly. Had long conversation with him. It was hugs. It was wonderful. Having a great conversation. TV's on. I assume it's like football or baseball. I look up and there's like faces being smashed with hammers. I was like, oh shit. There's like horror movies, multiple horror movies on the TVs and it's all like themed and it's a bit much, but it's cool. And so I had this conversation with Alex Huska from Plant Puff and Organic Plus brands. We were talking about him scaling down and a little bit of his kind of smoke shop business, right? It's just focusing more boutique stuff. And then ironically, after my first dispensary visit, I needed a legal Ohio product to vape in. And so I had to stop by my favorite local smoke shop. That's my code for pre-rolls. I had to stop by my favorite smoke shop, High Intentions in Highland Square. Nick, the owner there, great shop if you're here in Northeast Ohio. And I noticed he had scaled down his like non-legal or legal weed is like, the D8s, the D9, the THC alphabet, as I've often bitched about on the show. He just scaled it down, and he had Alex Huss's brand. He had a lot of smaller brands. And I was like, hey, talking, and both him and Alex had said similar sentiments, and I'll just paraphrase so I don't put words in their mouth. Basically, like the smoke shop kind of vape business, it's getting kind of just mass produced. And if you're not in a broker and you don't get the deals, like the local guy, the made and brewed in Ohio, so to speak, the hair, it's lab tested. That's not what people give a shit about. They shop price, bringing it back around. We're professionals. They shop by price, right? And so it's that thing. And so it was funny because to get to High Intentions, it's a little out of my way. We've already known I will take the deal over brand at any day of the week, people. I'm not a loyal. I'm both not an ideal customer because I'm not loyal unless you're loyal to me, but I'm perfect because I don't complain about anything. So there are some closer smoke shops to me. One was a small brand in the area and they're okay. But I noticed in where I live had nothing but this one small little chain. And then about 10 minutes outside of me, four in a year smoke shops. And we'll do that. They're more like e-juice vape stores have popped up in my area. All 4 of them, Dustin. I'm going to call them smoke shops because you can get mad at me. They're smoke shops. That's what they advertise. I won't name names. So they're smoke shops, right? And so unlike Nick's store with High Intentions, which looks much similar to what Inhalables did in Brunswick, it's a lot of glass now. Like he had about a year ago, over 6 months ago, he had an entire counter of the THC alphabet shit. All the P's and the O's and the D8s and the things and all the gummy, all the shit, right? All of it. Because we had multiple conversations, all of it. And now it's a few things and it's grown in Ohio. All 3-4 people he carry now are in Ohio, produce in Ohio companies, right? And so, and it's all, he's got more glass now. He's getting into more things and accessories, talking t-shirts and shit too. T-shirts too. But when I go into these 4 other stores, Dustin, you know what they look like? Can you picture in your head? Can you tell me what they look like before I tell them what they look like? Tell me what I saw. You weren't inside of them, but I bet you know exactly what they look like.
There's 2 types.
All right.
So there's 2 types. The first one you walk into and it is floor to ceiling packed with 500,000 items. So many SKUs. 25,000 SKUs is what's in that store easily. And so they're a catch-all store. They're the, oh, do you got this thing? Yeah, we got something near it. It might be a knockoff of it, but they got a similar looking, similar battery shape, a similar fucking connecting point, a similar color. It's a business of similars. And so then the other end of things is like you walk into the store and it's like 5 cases on the ground with like 6 items in each case.
The neighbor shed.
Yeah, the neighbor shed. And so, I don't know. There's definitely that distinguishable thing of like, that's 90% of the market. That's 90%.
These are the Florida wall. So all four of them, and they're all different names, but I swear to God, they're owned by the same person. All four of them are ceiling to floor, every SKU, the THC alphabet. And there's a whole other side that is the e-juice, like the vape stuff. Not really any, I don't know if maybe bowls, if there are any devices, they're small, like they're small glass pipes. If there's anything, right? They're mass produced, cheap, like glass pipes, one hitter type things. There's nothing intricate or glass work. They're 1,000 SKUs. And so I started talking to 2 of them. I went in and I always ask, because I'm like, hey, what's good? What do you recommend? Right? Because they talk to the guy and he's getting stuff and he knows what they know behind the counter. So, and it was the weirdest thing. And both of them was like, well, here, take this. I'm like, what is it? He's like, it's going to get you. I'm like, I don't want to get got. I want to like know what's in it. Right. And he's like, well, here's this one. I'm like, and he's literally put another one. He put that one away. And I was like, never answered my question about the previous product. It was just a switch out. And I was like, I don't really like, I'm looking for a thing. It was TTO and I like TTO. So I'm like, I'm looking for specific. And do you carry this brand? I think he asked a name and he was looking and he brought out a similar name company. I was like, and because I'm a good customer, it was a weird experience. I bought papers and rolling cones because that's universal and I can't not, I don't handle awkward situations well. So I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that. I'm good. But both of them were identical and all 4 of them look identical and they have everything. And here's the part that's gonna make you mad, I guess. They're busy. There's people walking in and out of them, like going in. And Nick's not as busy, right? He's having a harder time. He's doing his product. He's got to focus and walk the line that a lot of smoke shops are dealing with, legal weed. Yay. Oh, bummer. I don't really have any more business kind of thing because no one needs me anymore because they all sell pre-rolls. Damn it. It was just an interesting thing. And I know, go ahead.
I don't know. I just have a million fucking things to say about all that. The first thing I want to say is fuck, man. I don't know. There's definitely an oversaturation in the market of certain things. But again, in certain regards, that is what scaling in this industry looks like. It looks like you can't scale. You need to be able to scale mass-produced, easily reordered shit. You need to be able to open up a catalog, pick number 6 on the catalog. I want 10 of them, get them shipped into your stores and distribute them out. And you can't manage it any other way when it comes to that. And so the only way to consistently order product is to have it mass produced. I think when I look at the industry as a whole, just in the last year, I would say that 25% of my American shop friends are on their way out of business. And that's across the board just in... and that's nationwide. Yes, that's 100% nationwide. That is, you're talking from California.
A quarter of the industry, man.
A quarter of the industry is on its way out in certain capacities. And again, they're being replaced in an oversaturated way with 7 vape stores in the same city, all producing and selling the same exact shit. And it's a game of numbers. It's a game of like, we are going to sell 200,000 items, but make the same amount of money that we made when I sold 1,000 items. Like it's a total different type of game. And so it's a game of who has the best distribution network as opposed to who has the most amount of money and the best shit.
It is a logistical. Yes. It's now a battle of logistics than it is a battle of quality or a battle of care or even a battle of high, like a battle of anything. It's a battle of who can get it faster from someplace. I'm going to imagine a lot of these products aren't made in America even, let alone Ohio.
You can't. It's not possible. I mean, the difference between what I would order with inhalables is, the artist there would say, we probably I can make maybe 2,000 hand pipes a year, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, depending on holidays. You go to a Chinese manufacturer, another manufacturer overseas, and they'll say, we can produce 75,000 of them every week for you for the next indefinite, and so there's a different thing. And, when I started inhalables and the reason we designed the company in a certain way was because I knew that it was going to be harder for those guys to do what I did, because they would constantly be looking for a catalog that they could order out of and just undercut me by price. But the problem is that the artist that I carry took 2 years in advance to order the artwork from and pay 2 years in advance and not get the product for 2 years and only get 15 of them and have it be highly curated, that they just in no way, shape, or form could have mimicked that customer service and that experience as a customer. And so, like, it's a really funny thing and that's just that. So 25% are going out of business just because they can't compete with the amount of inventory and the differences of devices.
Okay.
25 extra percent are going out of business because they can't keep up with how fast a cannabis calendar is right now.
Yeah.
And
We
you
talked
think
about
about
that in recent shows.
100%. And so these old dinosaur stores who took them 7 years to transition to oil or concentrate vapes and shit like that, they missed the whole boat. They missed the whole growth. And now shit is changing so fucking rapidly for them that they're just not able to think about it. They can't think about what it means to digitize their inventory, about what it means to, like I said, how do I have one staff but have 2 staffs worth of work and productivity being done for that one staff salary. And so when you factor in all of that, you're left with 50% of smoke shops are left in business. Those 50%, not many of them are carrying American glass, which revolutionizes the entire glass pipe and device industry. And even the concentrate industry in a lot of capacity has been pushed forward via glass. That whole thing is falling suit. And so when you think about like where the fuck someone is going to get their device when they're buying medicine from a fucking shop,
Amazon.
Or from the
Just
shop
be
that they're
honest.
getting their medicine from. I mean, like
Yeah,
if I
and
went
the
to
shop,
Vegas and I
that's
bought
the
an
other part,
ounce, they're going to give me a free pipe and I'm going to toss it as a tourist, or and so that need is not there anymore. But eventually those dispensaries and stuff are going to come up with the problem again, which is how the fuck do we differentiate from each other? And they're going to have to, the whole industry is going to be kind of tipped up on its side, but without the infrastructure in place anymore to manage it. It's going to be interesting.
It does seem like the death of the smoke shop. It does seem like, let's say not the smoke shop. It's like the death of the head shop, right? That vibe, like the one that exists between the counterculture thing that exists between weed and legal weed. And I recently saw an article about some big longtime smoke shop in Chicago. Long time, like 50 years, super excited about the billions with a B in yearly, billion with a Y, you know what I'm trying to say, $1 billion a year that Illinois does in legal cannabis. Super pumped, right? You think I am going to get a slice of that sweet cherry pie, right? Like it's going to happen. They're like, they don't need me, because you're either going to get it from mass produced Amazon, or you're going to go to the dispensary and they're going to give you the price. The device becomes the add-on. It becomes the disposable thing that you toss
it's
on
the
as a
gas
bonus.
for the convenience store.
And
It's
so
the
what it
cigarettes.
does
It's
is
the same
it
damn
makes your
thing.
profit. If they value now the customer over time, and I think this is where your death of a smoke shop vibe comes from, because now over time, the customer, the people like me, the good customers, and I'm float in between because I know the other side, but the average Joe who doesn't have my cannabis closet suave that I do, but is sort of like me and not quite as handsome, they would go and just say, well, if the product is the flower and this is the add-on and it's free, I don't need to spend money on additional devices because this does its purpose. Value is in the product, right? They're devaluing the device to consume it through.
And they're devaluing.
That's the fear. Like that's the whole global fear of the smoke shop, head shop industry, is the device to consume it becomes less important because the place that provides the flower also provides the device to consume it at a discount or as a throw-in. And so your whole vibe is deemed like you're not the thing, because the place that you got your weed from, the dude, they know they never gave you the pipe with it, right? But now the dude's giving you the pipe for free.
But I think about it like we fucking preach about we need to keep these legacy guys in the market. They pioneered cannabis for the last 20
like a
years
LinkedIn rant right now.
and took all the risk. And it's like, if we have that same fucking rhetoric being spit about drug dealers from the fucking 1980s or growers who are hiding their grows and this whole shit, it's like, who do you fucking actually think represented the public face of cannabis from 1970 to fucking 2010? And it's the head shop. It's that old man guy who fucking sold the hippie ass tie-dyed fucking wall scrolls and the fucking weed ashtrays and had to call it fucking something else, you know, and had to talk in a different way and was literally targeted by the police.
Cards. Used to be note cards taped on the counter.
Yes, you can only say,
don't say these words or something like that.
Yes, fuck yeah. Or how about this? When I first started inhalables, if you said bowl instead of pipe, you were kicked out of my fucking store. Or bong instead of water pipe.
That's
like, of course. And so these guys actually took in the most amount of risk. They were the most public facing person. They were the first stop for most patients to go to when they needed to find out about device information, product information, how to grow information, how to fucking all of this shit. And then you regulate a market and you give these fucking 19 licenses. They are the only ones who are allowed to dispense this information now. You know, I have to go to a dispensary to have my fucking bartender tell me about my thing. And he doesn't know shit about the device. He doesn't understand, you know, like the level of caliber between what is curated and what is not curated is fucking, it's insane. And so it's just, I laugh when I hear all this social equity shit. It's like, man, you forget about the guys who you went to for 25 years. Like you're fucking, I don't know. It's silly. It's super silly. But I definitely think that in order for smoke shops to stay relevant, there needs to be a couple things. You either give them licenses to allow them to be a dispensary, a lot easier because they've been part of the community for 25 years and have shown to be trusted. You fucking allow glass blowers a bigger voice within the United States lobbying force to fucking say, we're a $15 billion industry as American Glass here. If you consider how many jobs and independent businesses are created from this one industry and from us just manufacturing this within the States, this is the fucking gain across the country. But it's so hush hush and so in the shed and trying to hide taxes and fucking inflation and all this nonsense that blocks true tracking of the finances. You know, there's going to be a loss of the art culture. There's going to be a loss of the innovation nationwide with how devices and the way chemistry works and what you're using and how to get it in your body. And there's going to be a tremendous loss without these guys. And most people will not notice it the first years of recreational cannabis until it becomes too late. And there's only one or two guys left who are very boutique style and highly curated. And it's happening at the most enormous pace, the fastest pace I've ever seen in 25 years. I've been in the industry for 17 years in the smoke shop game, or thinking about devices within the industry and shit. That's a long fucking time. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't fucking know, but I feel bad for these guys because most of them don't have the wherewithal or future forward thing to see a trend 3 years in advance. And it's a very hard, difficult thing to do. And that's what they're going to have to do right now to survive.
And that, dear listener, is how you define harangue. HARANGUE. That's Dustin's harangue on headshops. Man, hell, I want to.
I feel bad. I didn't
feel like you deserve a slow. If there was more people attending this live right now, Dustin, you deserve a slow cap. I can't make silly dick jokes after that. So we're gonna have to. That'll be our show for today. We'll wrap it up here properly. Thank you, Dustin. Hell yeah, we won't wrap up quite yet, but hell yeah, Dustin, you are fired up. It's true though, man. Like it's been eye-opening, right? I think about the future of the cannabis industry. We got some exciting stuff coming up here on Wayward Media, wayward.media. In addition to Plants Save My Life, the podcast hosted by Raven Areola coming onto the network. We got some really exciting things we're looking for. If you'd like to partner with us, hit us up. Hello at Wayward Media. Leave a comment below. I think today's show was great. It was good to listen to you just go off for a while and talk about my experience at the dispensary. We got some great interviews coming up, as always, in the near future. Make sure you hit that follow, hit that subscribe button on Spotify, on YouTube. Brand new shows, 4:20 p.m. every single Wednesday on there. Do you feel better? Do you feel a little more peaceful? I feel like you should. You exploded. You were like a firework. You were like a firework of passion against the mass-produced smoke shops, which will once dominate the industry.
Yes. Buy American, buy BIPOC.
It's July 4th. I feel like Buy American is appropriate. Buy this show. Hit follow, hit subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you follow us at MeetWM, at Meet Wayward on your social medias. We'll talk more about some of that stuff in the future. Dustin, it was fantastic to hear from you. I love seeing your energy. You guys will be back next Wednesday, 4:20 p.m. on YouTube, Thursdays on Spotify. Check us out there for sure. See you guys next week. Buy American.
And BIPOC.